Hello guys, they say he's going to get me some micro. I'm used to it by this point. I have been silent on a few topics lately, but this one it's getting to the point where it's getting dangerous. I'll explain what I mean in a sec. As most of you know, I hide no bones about not being the biggest fan of specific YouTubers. Most of my call-out videos are generally just my opinion. I have done one before which had a lot of facts in, and the topic of that person's never addressed it. How strange. And I'll probably get the same with this. Now, the thing is with this one is it's a fellow British YouTuber, and he's given us British YouTubers a bad name, and that worries me. What I mean by that is, I have information here. I do have proof on some of this. I have a video that I'll be editing into this video, probably, I hope. I'll also be providing screenshots where I can. I'll also link Margot Intigo's video, because by the time I went to look at the topics, John Kuckian, by the time I went to go and look at his apology, it had been taken down, and the only copy of it I could find was a copy that somebody had essentially taken bits from other people's videos where they'd gone through the apology and picked it apart and put them together in a video. There was no actual apology video that I could find. So I'm going off a lot of other people's videos of the apology, because by the time I found out about it, it had been deleted. So there is a bit where I go through a bit of math. I will try and put it here. Nope. I'll try and put the equations here, which is why you can see my green wall behind me. I know that looks weird, I have a green wall, but all the walls in this bedroom are green for now. I do go through 3 contradictions, but then I think, yeah, and then I go into each one in more detail further on, and I'll explain what I mean. Alright. Most people always say, well, why do you do these videos? Why do you do call-out videos? The normal call-out videos is me just voicing my opinion. This guy needs to be held accountable for the crap that he pulls, and he's getting to the point where he's dangerous. I'll explain what I mean by this as well. Also, he's very much suffering from a fall from grace at the minute, and he's desperately trying to pretend like nothing's happening when it actually is. You'll understand why as I go on. I am going to try and make this video as short as I can, but there is quite a bit to go through, so I'm hoping it's not going to be any more than 20-25 minutes. But we shall see. Right. He needs to answer these to be his best self and to be the best to his audience as he can be. And he's calling people out for things, and then he's doing, it'll make sense. During the apology, he contradicts himself 3 separate times. He says, like I said, check out the Margot Intigo video, and I will also link you to the video where somebody spliced together the parts of the apology, so that you guys can see what I was essentially working with. He's saying that the makeup formula for his palette and his highlighters, his lipsticks and everything is being made by a certified vegan lab. Same video, he states he doesn't have the money to use a lab, so he's doing it himself. Like I said, I'm going to go further into that in another bit in this video. I just wanted to get these 3 points out of the way and then I can go further into it. And his kitchen isn't a vegan kitchen. And I'm sorry, even I went to university and I studied science, and at home you can't clean your kitchen to the same level that a lab cleans itself or gets cleaned, because the two don't equate. He says he doesn't agree with private labelling, but he's doing it with his brushes. And he said he had permission for the ringtones when he didn't, and he admits that he didn't. This is the only part of the apology that was a true apology, which is he apologises for releasing the ringtones, which are now no longer on sale. And he admits that he did wrong, and that he in fact didn't have Amarese's permission to use the ringtones. He's also committed fraud and probably broken some copyright laws. By that I mean, he said when you sell things on, say for example, I do go more into depth and about it in another section, but that's on a different point. When you sell, say, a ringtone on iTunes, you have to click a box saying that you want the copyright to that particular item. You click that and then you can sell the item. If you don't own the copyright and you click that box, it's essentially fraud. He could actually find himself in serious trouble for this. I don't think Amarese's press charges, which is a good thing for him, but if she was to press charges, it will be a problem. Now, there is a possibility that she has pressed charges, and that because she's based in the US and John's based here in the UK, that the charges haven't quite got over the pond yet. But for something like fraud, I don't think it'd be that much of a big thing. They usually only do like things that involve kids and murder, so. Now, this is the other side. He never showed receipts about how much money he made on the ringtones from iTunes. Now, like I said, when you put something for sale on iTunes, say an app or a song or a ringtone or whatever, and it's something that you pay for. What happens is, when you sell that, so say for example, I do have an equation to match this. This is where the maths is going to come here. It's very similar to like Amazon and Google Play. Say I had a song and I put it on iTunes for sale and I put it on at $1.49. iTunes take 10%, so they would take 14p, 15p. I would then get the rest of the money. This is where the maths comes in, and this is where I'm going to pop it here. If, say, 10% of the John's audience bought one ringtone, then he would make $22,013.41. Like I said, I put the math here. If 5% bought the ringtone, you would make $11,022.22. If 1% bought one ringtone, it means he would pocket $2,204.44. So that means a very, very small amount. You're talking less than 0.1% or thereabouts would have, well, I could be wrong, but or 10% of the 1%, so it's still 0.1% of the audience would be buying his ringtones. So that doesn't fare well for his makeup or his brushes if people aren't willing to shell out 79p for a ringtone. So I double checked the maths on the percentage that it would have had to have been to make it less than around $200, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be 10% of the 1%, which is 1.1%, 0.1%. So that's a bit worrying. And why won't he show the income papers that he got from iTunes? Why won't he show how much he actually made? He's never shown it to my knowledge, and that's worrying. He assumes people are talking about him when they say certain words. Now, these particular words are words that are all over the makeup community, they're all over the LGBT community, and they're all over the drag community. Now, you can't be on YouTube and not hear these words, and everybody uses them. When I used to watch John, and I was watching drag queens at the same time, when I first started watching him, he would hardly use certain words, and then as time went on, I would hear him using these words. I heard him more from Sanders at the start than I did of John. Now, people might say, yeah, but he's based in the UK. That doesn't make any difference, because I know people in the LGBT community in this country that use those words. So, and because he uses them in his videos, he automatically assumes that, say, Jeffree Star uses them in one of his, that Jeffree Star is talking about him. That's not necessarily the truth. These words are words that are cross-country. They're over multiple countries. The UK, the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and certain places in Europe. Perfect example, Nikki Tutorials and Jeffree Star, 2 different countries. Because Nikki Tutorials is based in Europe. I think she's based in Denmark or somewhere like that, I don't know. But she's based in Europe generally, and Jeffree Star is based in the US. They both use the same words. A lot of beauty vloggers use these words because it's the in thing to do. And I think a lot of that is down to drag being as accepted as it is, because when drag stars are getting ready, they say certain words and then it's sort of caught on and snowballed. But John automatically assumes, because they're using certain words, that they are talking about him when it isn't the truth. So, next point. I know I mentioned this in the last video, and I will mention it again. I'll see if I can find the video and link it above. But there was a tweet that he said was a Jeffree Star tweet, when it had nothing to do with Jeffree Star at all. At all. Not by a long shot. It was a tweet that he himself, John, had faked, and he sent it to several other people saying, why don't you release this in one of your drama videos, and they did, and then it came out that it was fake. But this fact also puts a lot of what John does present that might be true into question. Meaning that if he says this receipt is from such and such a body, and then he's found to be lying in the videos, then the fact that he's getting that this particular instance, it was true that he was getting called out, and that it was true that it was the calling out of him was justifiable, is very much telling and also problematic for the drama community as a whole. Now, the drama community has a bad rep anyway, because they tell everybody shit, and so on, and it gets to the point where it's like, And the fact that a lot of his sources for drama, which is the beauty gurus themselves on Twitter, etc., and they've all blocked him. He never addressed any of the issues that people have and that the social commentary channels have put to him about the certain things that he says, like about people copying off him and things like that. He never addressed any of that. He only apologised for one issue, which was the ringtone issue. He also called people who questioned him hate channels. And that not the people that were calling him out are a mixture of drama channels, social commentary channels, fans, and general people. I'm not a hate channel because I don't do every video on the same YouTuber. I think this is my 4th John video, maybe my 5th. And I've been on YouTube properly now since last December. I think it's July. So, December, January, February, March, April, May. We're talking 7 months. And I've made 4 or 5 videos. I'm not a hate channel. I just want YouTube to be the best platform it can be, and people like him are ruining it for everybody else. Only small amounts of the channels are actually hit channels. Like I hate John Kuckian and things like that. There are some channels that are truly John channels. He also failed to address the fact that several people who had spoken up against him had been hacked. After making a video on, I haven't, and I have 2-step put-in, so it ain't gonna happen. And a lot of people are speculating on this because his brother's in IT, and without naming names, somebody I used to work with, one of his specialities was hacking, and he worked for a company where his sole job to do was to test that company's security. And hacking, there's even instructions on how to use it on the web, online. So, but yeah, a lot of people do question the fact that his brother's in IT that he never mentions, and that multiple people who've talked up about him have been hacked. So, he also failed to address the fact that there are several accounts that have left horrific, vile comments on videos like this calling John out, myself included, that have come from certain 3 or 4 main channels that have done this. These threats including doxing, raping, murder, stab, die. I'll actually put mine here because I still have them. Some may view it as not his issue, which is something I had with the whole Joy thing. But he's never addressed it in any of his videos. He's never said don't do this, don't do that. At least Joy is now actually saying don't do this, don't do that. Although a few of us say, well, are you actually doing anything to enforce that don't do this, don't do that? But he doesn't even say that. But some of the threats could land the commenters in serious trouble because they include death threats. He's also the king of removing videos. I'd love to see exactly how many of his videos have ever been deleted. I'd love to see. I don't know if there's any way of finding out. I'd love it if there was, but yeah. Multiple videos have been deleted, especially ones that he has got a hell of a lot of backlash on. Also, I am aware that he did take a break because the amount of backlash he was getting on some videos was so high. And then he came back a couple of weeks ago with an apology video, which did nothing, basically, at all. It did jack shit. Right. He also flip-flops on topics. He started that Tanner was lying about the regards to the stalker. This is also a point. I'm literally skimming over the points. I'm going to leave certain videos up above and links down below for you to check out with regards to these. Margot's video is like nearly 40 minutes long. I'm hoping not to have this as long as that because my computer can't render those videos. It literally gives me the middle finger when I try, so this might have to be a two-parter. Oops. We'll see. We'll see. It usually gives me a good idea because my camera switches off after about 20 minutes. So, but I have still got quite a bit. God, why do I do these things myself? Why? Oh God. And he also called out Sanders' video for the quality of the interview because Sanders did it over the phone, holding the phone like this. No one near a microphone, didn't do it on a live stream, etc. Then, when he did his interview of Tanner, he interviewed her, and we just hit the 20-minute mark, which was fine. Oh God, this is going to be a 3-parter. Fuck. God. When he did his, he was literally acting starstruck. No, I might be able to get it in about half an hour.